Okay, so I'm sorry about the poor quality of video, but I'm doing this by a busy road. I'm no authority on this. This is a video I wish I'd had when I started this. So this is taking the door panel off 2018 VW Crafter. In particular, it's the CR35 long wheelbase high roof, but that shouldn't make any difference. And you'll probably see I've already started just to make life easier. Things you're going to need some trim tools, and they're really useful for taking things off without hurting anything else. You're going to need a 30 Torx screw, and it needs to be a reasonable length, and you're going to need a 15 Torx screw as well, and probably a bit of blue tack when you put it back together again. So you can start by popping this off here, which is very difficult to do with one hand. Let me just do this. So often get your fingernail in enough to open it anyway, and it pops up from the back and it's hooked in at the front with this hook. So you just pop that up. You have to be careful not to pull it too hard as well, because you've got a connector on the back of it. To get that connector off, there's a little plug on here. Oh, we've got emergency services now, just to add some more noise. So you press that little bit of plug down, and then this, it's very easy to do with two hands, this comes out, and you can then move this to one side. Next, you've got this trim here, which I have loosened, but there's a trick to this, and that is you can open the window so that you can get the tool in at the right angle. But this basically comes away at about 45 degrees, and you'll see when I pull it off, you can see it just plugs in with plugs and clips. Sometimes takes quite a bit of force to get that off there. Once that's off, there are two of these screws that go in here, and they're the Torx 30s, one in each side there. Then you have Torx 15s, which go one just above the speaker there, which is a Torx 15, and then another two that are down here, both Torx 15s. And once you've undone all those, you can literally get your trim tool and go round and pop the sides off. It's that simple. Putting it back together again is reverse of that. Something you have to remember when you take it apart is on the back of here is a very short Bowden cable that links the handle to the unlock mechanism, and there's a trick to getting that off, and I'll show you that once I've got it off. So I've gone round and I've popped all these out. They make a horrific noise, especially the first ones. They're just plastic plugs, but you're best to start at the bottom, get your fingers underneath, pop them out slowly, work your way up. When you've worked all your way up, you get to this stage, which is where it comes away from the door and it's hooked in at the top, and it's then simply a matter of lifting it away from the top, which I can't do with one hand. What you've got to watch is that catch. So as soon as I've got it away from the door, I'll show you how that catch works. Here's the panel away from the door, and this is the bit you've got to watch. It's really not very long from there to there. So as soon as you get it off, what you do is, this is plugged into the module there. You pull this clip back here and then pull it away from the top. To put it back in, you push it in that way, push it down until this clip latches on with here. Very easy to take off. I don't know how easy it's going to be put back on, but very easy to take off, but it would be very easy to forget it and break this. Apparently they break very easily. So that's it. Putting it back on really is just the reverse. One of the reasons I've taken it off is the previous owner clearly had a dog, and the first time I took this off it was just full of dog hair. So I just want to give it a really good clean, but also I have some industrial locks on mine which I'd like to change, so I'm going to be working on them. But that will give you a good insight how to get it off. As I say, I'm no expert, but I wish somebody had showed me this in the beginning. So just a couple of tricks when you're putting it back together again. you put it back on in the reverse, so you bring it out about 45 degrees and you slot the top in against the window. Again, dropping the window can let you see from the other side where you're going, and then you can see these holes. God, I still can't get rid of all that dog hair from the previous owner. These holes should line up. When those line up with the screw fittings in the back, then you're in roughly the right place. Don't forget to make sure your window plug is ready to be plugged back in again. And there's another little trick. This screw by the speaker, it's a bugger to get back in. So what you do, a little bit of blue tack will hold the screw onto the end of your Torx drive. So you put a little bit of blue tack on, then you put the screw onto the top. I'm trying to do everything one-handed and failing miserably. Put a tiny bit of blue tack between the Torx drive and the screw, and that allows you to then feed the screw into that very, very long hole and line it up to screw it up.